Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 Maricopa Open presented by Infinite Discs. Terry Miller, along with Nick Newton, coming out of Arizona. And Nick, we're here in Maricopa, and we're going to give you the front round action of the very first round taking place at Copper Sky. How are we doing today?
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me. I'm super stoked to be here to show you guys some top Arizona golf courses, but let's get to this action.
Yeah, and we have Joshua Battazzi, a gentleman I just met. I think he's a transplant. I don't recall if he said maybe Nebraska or
I'm, pre-
Idaho, but
I'm pretty sure he's new to the area, but obviously solid for them to put him on this top card. And we got Tommy Gunz throwing OB off the first tee. It might be a little bit of nerves, but he's a good buddy of mine, and he's a very solid player for sure.
yeah, name we definitely, if you're not from the area, you've heard about him as I've come to the area through all these years. And so it's great to see him. And then we also just saw Tristan Tanner a moment ago. And then, of course, everybody knows AB, Anthony Barela.
Yep, AB is very, very knowledgeable in all these courses out here, and it's going to be definitely fun to watch him play these courses.
Very first hole just leaks out of bounds right next to the basket. So that should be a pretty easy recovery. And Tommy moves over to the drop zone.
Yeah, definitely easy recovery, but super unfortunate. It looks like it barely trickled OB on him. Looks like Tristan here from maybe about 60 feet, giving it a really good bid. Wow.
Yeah, everybody's getting things started. It's a Saturday morning. It's late January right now. And, well, there's no better place to be than Arizona in late January, as everyone can tell by the weather.
Yeah, I coming from San Diego, and especially being here new to Arizona, I can say that the weather is absolutely amazing. And even compared to San Diego or California weather, this is the place to be, especially during the off season. And it's really nice to get the season kicked off here for sure. So, as we watch everybody hit up their tap outs.
Yeah, it looked like Tommy, after going OB a second time, unfortunately is going to walk away with the double bogey. And we see Joshua tap in for the par, as does the rest of the group. And hopefully, if there's any first hole nerves, they've subsided, and we're moving over to hole 2 at 339 feet.
Yeah, this hole two plays real close to the OB left sidewalk. And to get it real close to the basket, I feel like personally you need to hug it either real tight to the light pole, or you need to have a nice high shot, which we see Josh kind of hung it a little wide. And as we see Tristan getting it up in the air nice and high, he should be a lot closer to the basket.
Yeah, a little bit more playing into that ground play. Like you said, you just want to be careful that the skip doesn't carry you all the way past the basket into the OB.
Correct. And it's kind of interesting being out in this Arizona hard pan. The grass was definitely short, but we were not getting any skips, as you see AB kind of just stick straight to the grass right there. Just not very much ground play going on. And Tommy hanging it up real high. It seems like he got it a little wide, and again, just not really any skips going on.
Yeah, when you're watching that come in, you're just assuming there's going to be at least a 15 or 20 foot skip to the left, and there was just nothing.
Yeah, nothing. And good bid by Josh. Obviously, with the OB behind, it's got to be a little tough to give it a real hard run. And as you see Tommy doing exactly what I said, it's tough. He obviously really wanted that. Looks like you were making him scared a little.
I'll take the blame. Everybody can blame me, even if I'm standing behind the players. I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's definitely cameras. As being a player that's been on camera before, it is not easy to get over those nerves, especially knowing that everybody's going to see what's going on. And wow, everybody just kind of having that little bit of hiccups.
Yeah, nobody's found their groove just yet. Early morning here, a few struggles, and Tommy's gonna follow up his double, unfortunately, with a bogey here on 2.
Yeah,
See if he can settle down.
yeah, it is unfortunate. These two first holes, obviously hole one's a little close to the OB, so you're okay taking a par, but hole two, you definitely like to get started with the birdie.
Everybody's cleaned up, and we'll take a look. We're going to move over to hole number 3. I got to think, you'll see all the transitions roll in with the primary sponsors, and then all of the hole sponsors that have helped with the coverage are in the bottom left of your screen as well. So thank you to all of them throughout the entire video.
Josh throwing a pretty awesome shot. This hole plays very far, especially because I know specifically on this day there was a very, very heavy headwind. All these discs that these players are throwing are very overstable. So 410, it might look like Tristan was getting real close to the OB there and hanging it wide.
And it's almost deceptive. Now we do see that one come in low, and it does get a little ground play, comes up short of the OB, and it feels like that OB kind of sneaks up on our players quickly, even though it's 410 feet.
Right, you definitely want to have a closer putt, so you're trying to get that all the way to the basket. And wow, Tommy showing his guns. Wow, I guess that's why he's got the name, huh?
I guess so.
Oh, so close on the par putt. Looks like he's just right there, just a little off.
I feel like there's a theme here, unfortunately. Everybody's like close, you know, they're certainly not throwing terrible shots, just nobody's quite fully dialed in. And yeah.
Let's hope that this changes a little bit. Oh, wow. And definitely some frustrations from AB. You know, that's just the game we play.
Yeah, now, rumor has it AB is in the middle of maybe some fraternity kind of activities throughout the weekend.
I did hear something like that. He might not be 100% focused on the game itself, but you know, AB being a solid player, I'm sure we'll see a little bit of a turnaround here soon.
And Joshua still has the tee in the honors. Let's see if we can get things going. This is a really tough one to cover.
Yes, definitely hard to see where the basket's at, but trust us, the basket's right there in between where those trees have the split in between the branches, and it is a true 290. There is some OB right behind the basket, but the rocks help you stay pretty close when you land. So it's basically a throw it high, hyzer, and park it right near the basket and give yourself a real easy 2-look.
Yeah, and these players are able to do exactly that. Just avoid all the trees. Really, that's the shot, is just put it up there, let it crash down, and although there's plenty of trees, they're really not coming into play for these guys.
Right, all of them taking the exact same line. Tommy holding it a little tight left and maybe a little short, but all having virtually easy birdie putts.
Yeah, you're looking at 2 of them right there in frame. AB is out, and he's no more than 20 feet from the pin.
There it is. And again, AB probably still frustrated, but happy to hit the birdie. Nice putt from Tommy.
Just like that, it's like they're flipping on a switch. We got 4 good drives, and what should be 4 easy tap-ins. Just a slow start.
Slow start, but obviously getting a little warmed up, and 27 holes, you know, lots of golf.
Certainly is. And I want to thank all of my Patreon subscribers that help support all of my video blogs. And now we're moving over to a couple of newer holes. I know they've kind of changed things up throughout the years, but this is a little bit different.
Yeah, being from here last year, they didn't play these holes the same because obviously the construction has changed, but being a very easy 297 again, hyzer hole with Josh throwing the straight shot. Whatever's the most comfortable disc in your bag that you can throw 300, obviously you'd probably be throwing here.
Yeah, very similar actually if you think about it to the previous hole that comes in just around 300. Big hyzer and let it crash down, and just hope you've got good footing on those mounds.
Right, probably a justice from Tristan, and looking like a felon from Tommy. And from the group, it sounds like it was a really good shot. Oh, just right. Strong side, but Definitely right.
I think we saw has
Oh,
ABs off the top. I think that was actually a rock that we saw from Josh a moment ago. That's what he threw as a driver or as his tee shot.
got
Oh,
it.
come on.
And again, flipping the script on us again from a star frame to a couple misses, and Tommy getting the stroke on the card here.
They
I
always
do know,
say if you're not putting well, just put it closer, right?
right, exactly. And I do know that AB's using some newer plastic putters. He's into that Nexus plastic, so I know transitioning from a newer style putter can make your game just off just a little, which it seems like that's where his putts are off. It's just a little bit.
So we move over to another temporary hole. So you wouldn't find this hole out on the course if you went out there today, per se. But about the same distance, 310. And this one has a little elevation. I like that they tried to bring the mound into play as best as they could as I pan over to it.
Right. Yeah. It actually it plays more like a plateau with like a pyramid because the front and back side of the hill where the basket's located are literally vertical. So you can't really even stand on them if you get stuck in it. So and you're basically wanting to lay it up either right before or on top of it if you can. And if you end up on that hillside, it's actually quite unfortunate.
AB getting a little skip action off the ground.
Definitely a good shot.
Now, this is the first time I've seen Tristan play, and very quiet, mild-mannered gentleman, super nice, and it just feels like he goes out there and gets stuff done.
Yeah, he's probably one of the hardest working people on the course and off the course. He's living the van life, touring all year long, and it's definitely showing this year. He was a little injured, but definitely showing his full stride. And a really nice putt right there from Josh. Um, the elevation and with the depth right behind it, that's a nice one. Maybe even big putting AB a little bit on that one. Dang it. But Tristan, yeah, he was wearing a knee brace all last year, and to see him without the knee brace and to see him fully out there playing all these tournaments in a very nice putt. Um, Even these little tap-ins on this basket make it tough, and because it's not a permanent basket, it's one of the portables, so it makes it tough.
And to kind of stamp this a little bit, Tristan comes into the event with a 993 rating. As we're looking at some of the players, you yourself will, spoiler, we'll see you second round. You came in with a 1012 rating. And as we go throughout, I'll take a look at some of our other players. But I see Joshua is rated 955. And Tommy, I know I had it written down here.
I think he's in the 950 or 60 range.
Yeah, 940 at the time, which I
There you
think went
go.
up. So
Yeah.
very challenging hole. I like the creativity here on hole C.
Yeah, they built this new from last year. It's actually kind of a trickery hole to me. I actually just lay up and just take the easy par because of the danger. The hole is so tight. It kind of reminds me of hole. I think it was 7 or I'm not. I forget. USDGC.
Yeah, hole 7. Yep.
Yes, which was the bamboo holes, which. Same, you want to go for it, but there's not as much blocking you from the OB on this hole as we see Tommy rip it straight over the fence, which guards you from going OB past the Mandos.
Yeah, so they framed it up, and now we'll see a few of the missed Mandos will go to the drop zones. And
Ooh, good bid, chain high, just a little left. And there was 2 drop zones. You could take either one. I didn't think it was if you missed left, you had to take the left or right. I think it was either or.
yeah, I believe you had your choice, as you're saying. You could go either way. And now Joshua didn't miss the Mando, but you can see he still had a little bit of work to do.
Yeah, very difficult upshot, but he executed it pretty good. Same with AB. He looks like he might have to do a little forehand flick at the basket, which is exactly what he's going to do.
Now, keep in mind, folks, when you're playing with a Mando between you and the basket, you actually are lining up to the Mando as if that is your target. So you always have to then position your footwork accordingly. A little pro tip.
Yep, correct. Oh, wow. He gave that a really good run. Probably throwing something overstable like a gator to get it to pan out. And, just an uncharacteristic miss from Tristan right there.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, these guys.
Yeah, sub 300 feet, providing plenty of challenge.
Yep, and that's why I say it's a sucker hole. You have to throw from the drop zone, and then you want to run the par putt, and you miss, and you miss the bogey, and take a bunch of strokes right there. And taking the easy par might not feel like it, but you probably are going to take strokes on people in the field that's just laying it up right before the Mando and tapping in the easy one. So
Another solid pro tip, don't always go for the birdie. I like it, even on a shorter hole. So now I move over to kind of like a swing spot. I'm about 3/4 of the way to the pin to try and get both the throw and the catch here on this one. This one plays blind from the tee, doesn't it?
yes, and it has that very sneaky OB right next to the basket, which is that culvert. And if you come in at the wrong angle or at the wrong speed, you could come right into that, and that is a super unfortunate OB to land into, being so close to the basket. I think AB actually laid up a little short on purpose just because of it. Same maybe with Tristan, but great shot by Tristan.
Yeah, getting a roll to the pin and then having a slight uphill putt seems to be like a pretty good position, because if you saw it off left and you're up on the platform, you may be looking at a downhill putt, and that's kind of what we're going to see, or a death putt, so to speak, and that's exactly what Tommy is faced with.
Right, he's looking directly at that OB with only the railings to stop him if he misses, so hopefully he gets a piece of the basket, and Josh just left on his putt. Hopefully AB can connect on some metal here. Oh.
Yeah, and again, this is I believe this is typically a temp hole, or is this now part of a regular fixture of the course? Are you sure, one way or another?
This is definitely a temp hole because of the construction. You have the whole construction fence there. Nice putt from Tommy with the death right behind it, OB. But I think their plans are to make this a permanent 27-hole course in the future. But very nice putt from Tristan with the nice drive, able to capitalize. And AB coming back for his par. Good solid putt from probably about 15, 20 feet. Those are always nice to make after you miss so many putts in the beginning of a round, being able to connect on something solid, dead center, and not weak or right,
Yeah,
making
just
sure
a little
that you're...
boost of confidence.
Yep, exactly. This is the little shorty island, if I remember, and this hole, very tricky. It plays island, the concrete right there with the curb being OB. You have to land on the dirt with the fence line stopping you, so you kind of want to fall down the hill, but very short. And as we see Tommy going down to the fence line, he's going to have a putt looking at the OB behind.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite holes out here. I just feel like it's short, but yet let's see if that can. Oh, not enough.
And
It's
Josh
really
showing you the
short,
OB.
but there's not. But there's certainly some danger to it.
See, I like this shot from AB, coming in nice and straight with the putter. No flirting with any OB or the hillside. Very, very smooth.
And with the OB, Joshua goes over to the drop zone in this case. He never found himself inbounds at all.
Ooh. Leaving himself a testy putt for sure. Looks like he might go through it. Yes. Oh.
Doing a little bit of work here, unfortunately, though.
Yeah. Oh, and that flag saving him from going very long past the basket. I think so. Unfortunately, taking the double after missing the island. It's how bad it can hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the shortest holes that we'll find out here. It's, again, still plenty of trouble.
And
Great birdie by Tristan, and AB's got to tap in. Ooh.
yeah, a little frustration, I think. And some
Simon Lizotte trickery?
Yep, some chuckles after.
All right, we move over to hole D, 278 feet. This one, I would say it would feel blind, but with the elevated basket, maybe you can see it from the pin or from the tee?
Yeah, you can just see the top of the basket from the tee. It's elevated, so it kind of plays tricks with your eyes, thinking you need to throw a little farther than you actually need to. So as you can see, AB throwing a putter straight at it. It plays all of 270, but it looks more 300 from the tee. So being elevated definitely plays a little bit of tricks, as we see Tommy just blasting way past the basket. Wow. That's going to be a tough putt.
Yeah, and you know that the group up there, that's kind of that's the first par 4 that we see, and there's back-to-back par 4s, so there's a little bit of a collection of people, and the groups can easily get backed up there on the next hole, and so you got a little bit of a gallery now. Some of your peers are watching.
Yep, and Tristan from maybe about 35. Oof. Thankfully hitting the top of the basket and keeping him right there on that elevated, which can be tough if you go too far on the blow by. Oh, and Tommy showing you what I'm talking about.
Well, it's definitely not like they're shy. You know, everybody, hitting top, giving it a chance, but maybe just a little too much enthusiasm and excitement as they're hitting some top basket.
Oh, just barely off. Thankfully hitting the tree behind, keeping him right there, but I'm sure he's just not happy with that. And just low. Yeah, getting skips off the top of the basket don't help. And I know personally that Tommy's better than that, and this is tough to see. But again, this is the game we play. Golf can't get them all, and you can't be perfect.
No, and finally, Josh is happy to tap in. He's watching everybody kind of struggle, and he's able to walk away with the easy birdie.
Yep, very nice drive and a very nice putt. So this is one of the par 4s here, as you were saying, starting off with 2 in a row, and it makes it quite tough, being that it's very narrow. There's the water aqueduct to the right, and you have the path to the left, and the path is safe, but as you go more left, there's the soccer fields with the downslope, and if you go down there hyzering or turn it over with a sidearm, it could be OB. So
And that's, yeah, just a really, I feel like that's a mistake I'm surprised to see Tristan make, knowing he's as good as he is.
Yes, and same with AB. Wow, barely hitting the top of the aqueduct, getting him in bounds, which is very fortunate.
I think he called himself an idiot, but it worked out for you, Anthony. Nice compact swing there by Tommy. Not much ground play, but real just proving that you don't have to have big, long stature to be able to throw far.
No, definitely not. It's all about being smooth and having the correct form to get distance. That's for sure. And Tristan again making the big mistake of going OB over the aqueduct with the forehand. I think what he was trying to do was to be more safe and play into the aqueduct hill, and he just got way too into it and tried to throw it too hard, and it ended up hyzering too much on him. And Tommy with the very nice upshot, putting him inside the circle, it looks like.
Yeah, and for those mathematicians out there, I mean, you're looking at what, about 360 per shot. If you really just kind of break this up into 2 throws, 2 drives, 360, you'd be right there putting at this par 4. And I feel like it's one of the easier par 4s to attack because it's just a pair of straight drives.
Correct. And I mean, maybe because it seems so easy and it is just two 350s, it actually adds a little bit more of difficulty to the hole because as you see, these guys are not close by any means and still having definite putts to make for the birdie. And just low. I mean, it's tough to watch, but you know, again, you said he's probably got other things on his mind right now, and
I,
obviously being frustrated does not help.
I'm thinking even fatigue is playing in a little bit. It sounds like he's
Oh,
he's been
nice.
enjoying his some of his early college experiences, and that may not lead to long nights of restful sleep. I guess I'll put it that way.
I can definitely attest to that, Terry.
So we do see a couple of birdies though. Josh, along with Tommy, getting the birdies,
Yes,
and we're gonna move on.
very nice putts from Tommy and Josh.
Now 625, clearly about 90 feet shorter, but pretty straightforward still.
Yes, there's a little bit more off the tee that you have to avoid with these trees being in the way, and if you actually put yourself anywhere near these which it looks like Josh just did, if you're anywhere near those bushes or those trees, it makes it pretty tough for you to get up and down. Still relatively easy, but again, since it is such an easy two par fours back to back, it kind of makes you think that you it's almost a must get. So I feel like in the back of your mind, you're thinking, I have to get these holes. So it makes it a little bit tougher on your mind. So, but just executing the right shot, not putting yourself near anything with danger is going to put yourself in the best position on these holes for sure.
Yeah, it kind of teases you to be out to the right side, but like you said, then you're going to be flirting with the OB waterway. But everything on the left is exactly what you need to stay away from. So I think you have to make a real conscious decision. Do I want to play with the right side OB and have an easier, more open approach, or do I play with that left side and have something be obstructed?
Right. Oh, great upshot from Josh. And as we saw before, Tristan making the correction on his forehand, not sawing it off and throwing a great shot. Oh, and just not getting any skip at all on his approach. I think he hung it out a little wider than he thought as well.
Yes, certainly an awkward stance for him as AB was kind of pushed up on that left side. I think stymied is the fancy word.
Yeah, right. And Tristan getting a great skip on his upshot, which is kind of you're not playing for that, but getting very, very fortunate having it skip straight to the basket, giving him almost a guaranteed birdie.
And I almost had a little throwback. We saw Anthony Barela land mid-mound last year on his second shot where he had to actually putt from there, but I didn't include that in this year's footage, but I do recall him landing there.
And just right. You don't really guarantee you're always. Oh, nice putt from Tommy. Yeah, you don't always really guarantee you're going to make a bunch of those, but you want at least one or two during the round and leaving himself a nice tester. Let's see how he does on these. As AJ Risley would say, he passed.
And, Barela's 2 under. He's tied for the hot round right now with Joshua. Just he's been so much closer, it feels like, on a number of these where you can tell he's just not up to his normal playing standards.
Right. And, when you're coming from the off season, this is probably one of the first or the first tournament you're playing after being in the off season. And after being on the road all year long and having 3 months or 4 months to yourself, it's kind of hard to get yourself back into the swing of things. But I can almost guarantee now that everybody is definitely in full force and going hard for the 2020 season.
Now, here's another new one that I've never seen before. They didn't play this one last year. It's being called Hole E at 303 feet. And what is the good shot here as we're seeing Tommy park it? But what are you trying to do?
Oh, that was a great shot. Very risky. There is two mandatories to the left side of where Tristan is throwing right now. He's actually risking them. You can see the arrows there, but you have to stay right of those poles off the tee. And throwing hyzer is tough because that aqueduct plays right kind of where you want to land and skip, as we see AB throw it real high and spiked up to where he kind of doesn't even risk with that aqueduct and making both Mandos, definitely. But very tough hole. If you have a good forehand, great. But Tommy definitely threw the great shot of the group right there.
Little stepper.
Oh, nice putt from Josh.
Cashing it in. Nice.
Definitely probably 60 to 70 feet in that bush right there.
AB hasn't really found his groove yet. Maybe he can get things going here. He just sees a great putt by Josh.
There it is. And not getting big putted, feeling it and going hard at the basket, you know, trusting in the work and making good from about 50 feet. Very routine putt. Tommy connecting for his birdie and getting closer to even, you know, chipping away at a couple of those early mistakes.
There we go. Kind of like what we saw back from hole 4, a little star frame action.
Yep. A little group camaraderie right there. A little fist bump, getting each other going. Hopefully we see a lot more coming down the stretch.
And now they're playing exactly back, you know, parallel to where they just were. You see the group on the left-hand side of the screen initially. That's exactly, they were playing that previous hole. So we're just paralleling and backtracking where they just came from.
Correct. And those two poles are mandatories again, except you need to be right of them again and just playing opposite. And kind of a funny clause is we can't go over the fields at all. So the field posts were mandatories, but it was a rule that you were not allowed to throw over a field at any point in time. So making it a little bit more of a tougher shot, having to throw right down the alley. And then, you know, with the really hard pan slick green, you know, putts being obviously trouble.
And AB getting creative. We're going to see an overhand. And
oh, no. Making the mistake you don't want to do going in the field. That is definitely going to be a hard OB stroke he's going to take right there. And that hard pan, like I said, man, getting away from him on his putt. I had the same thing happen to me. Luckily came back and made the 40-footer for par. But yeah, that green, I don't know what it is about the gravel. It's just maybe that certain size of DG. It's just, it helps the disc roll. That's for sure.
So Barela goes OB on the drive.
Oh, what a great save by AB. And just
wow.
Connecting on two 50-footers almost, it seems like, back to back. Oh, and Tristan finding his groove. Here we go. He's 3 down.
Things are heating up, and AB's going to try and get creative to see if he can retrieve his disc.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be more on that in a moment.
I've done one of these, you know, the back and forth up the fence.
Yep.
Oh, and almost making good on his par putt, and that's an unfortunate bogey right there. Oh, dang it, Tommy. Just a little off. On the weak side.
And the birdie turned to bogey, unfortunately, for Josh. And we're going to start to close things out. I want to say thank you so much, Nick, for joining me. I'm excited to have you do some more commentary. It looks like we got the bonus action here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it looks like he was smarter than me, and he found someone with the retriever. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to continue watching this golf. It seems like everybody's getting a little more comfortable and obviously using their teamwork.
Yeah, I love it. I feel like there should be a contest as to which group could retrieve the disc the fastest, put a disc out there, and then time everyone. Like you said, I love the teamwork here.
Yeah, that's a Firebird. I know that style Firebird right there, and you are not leaving that disc, that's for sure.
So we invite you guys to join us. We're going to, of course, move into the back half of this course. Both of these rounds being 27 holes. I just kind of called it the front and the back. It's roughly around 13 or 14 holes on each side. And leave a comment. Let us know what's the craziest thing you've done to retrieve a disc. And that will make you eligible to win a disc. We'll see you guys in the back half. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah, thank you guys, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah.